Hi again, everybody. Another open-ended question for you here. This one is about a car trip. Again, it will involve linear equations and a little bit of graphing. So, Ziegler's family is on a car trip. When they are 84 miles from home, Ziegler begins recording their distance d in miles after h hours in the table below. And you see that the time in hours when he starts recording it is 84. At 1 is 146, at 2 is 208, and at 3 is 270. So it says write an equation to find the distance driven in miles after a given number of hours. So what we're going to do here is make an equation for this situation. So we had a point, we only really need two, at 0.84, and we had a point at 1 and 146. Any time that you want to get the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, you need a point and you need the slope. Well, we can find the slope. The slope is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. In this case, here's your y2, here's your y1. So 146 minus 84, here's your x2, here's your x1, so 1 minus 0. And that is going to give us 62 over 1, which is 62. And really what we just found there, how far they go in an hour. They're going 62 miles in 1 hour. This is just miles per hour. Now, we also need a y-intercept when we're talking about y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. And we could go through the math to find that, but luckily it's staring us in the face because the y-intercept is by definition your y value when x is 0. So I know without doing any math here that my y-intercept b is 84. So my equation in this case is y equals 62x plus 84. In the context of the problem, he started keeping this mileage 84 miles from home, and they are increasing that mileage from home 62 miles every hour. Let's go to part B. So part B says, Ziegler also kept track of the remaining gallons of gasoline. The equation shown below can be used to find the gallons of gasoline remaining G after distance driven in miles. So it's just asking us to complete this table. Alright, so it says 16 minus 1 over 20d equals G. We're going to take this distance in miles and we're going to plug in 100. So G, I'm on the wrong spot, sorry. So it is G equals 16 minus 1 over 20d was the equation that they gave you. And then they gave you that d was 100, 200, and 300, and they're asking for G. Well, for the first one, we simply plug in 100 for d. So 16 minus 1 over 20 times 100. And you can put this in a calculator. You'll have 16 minus 5, which is 11. So the first part of that table, or the first column in that table, is 11. There's 11 gallons remaining after they've traveled 100 miles. For the second part, you simply do 16 minus 1 over 20 times 200. That is 16 minus 10, which is 6. And then for the 300, you have 16 minus 1 over 20 times 300. Okay, that is 16 minus 15, which is 1. So there are 11, 6, gallons remaining after those miles. And those answers would go in the table that is now in front of you. Part C says draw a graph of the line formed by the points in the table from part B. So we're simply going to graph those 3 points. Okay? So we have 111, 206, 301. So I'll rewrite those. 111, 206, 301. So I'm just going to make it hand-drawn axes here. Okay. On our x-axis, it makes sense to count by 100s here. You see that we're going up by 100 and 200 and 300. For our y values, we're going up by 5 each time. So it seems to make sense to count by 5, 10, 15, 20. And maybe I should actually have the full 100 out here. Okay. At 100, we're at 11. At 200, we're at 6. At 300, we're at 1. And we could also figure out, just by the pattern, at 0, well, as we kind of work backwards, if we go 300, 200, 100, 0, then we would go 1, 6, 11, 16. So we could also put a dot here at 0, 16. Okay? That's just asking for the line through those points to be a straight line. Okay. Notice I do not draw arrows on that. That is intentional. Okay. You cannot go past the x or y intercept in this case. You can't go past 0 gallons left. You can't go past 0 gallons left, and you also can't travel negative mileage. So it only makes sense to be in your first quadrant here where both x and y are positive. So that is your final graph. We should have it labeled that this is gallons of gas, and over here that this is miles driven. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to watch this video as many times as you need. If you still have questions, you can contact your instructor before doing your next open-ended question. I hope you have a good day.